welcome back to Cocktails and Classics. I'm Dylan, and joining me as always is Benjamin.
Hello.
And this week, we're doing a little something. We're kicking off a little series, maybe. We'll see how long it goes. But
I think we're gonna call it our fallback series.
yeah, like
those times that we can't look, guys. We're both we're both dads. It's hard sometimes to find not just the time to watch the movie, but the time to have the discussion of what to watch. And when there's times where it's just like, I don't know, let's take a look. Sometimes it's nice to just have something that's there. Be like, hey, this is safe. It's the option. This is what we're going to do. So that's what we're doing.
hey, and no one's gonna complain about our hour and 20-minute movie, are they?
Yeah. Just you wait. We've got some doozies lined up. We've had conversations about some long movies.
But this week, we're kind of kicking off our the dads do Disney. It's kind of my like name I was playing with, but like
Yeah, I like it.
You know, I have a 2-year-old daughter. Ben has like a brand new baby girl. She's not brand new anymore, but like
still under 6 months. So,
but it's we're like the target audience here. So, I thought it would be fun.
We're the target audience for 1930s movies.
When I grew up and saw Snow White, it was. I remember
my day.
I remember when this movie came out. It was great.
Back in my day, you had to pay a nickel to see Snow White. You couldn't just open your application on your television.
You could book tickets ahead of time.
Back in my day, you had to have your VHS player to watch Snow White.
Hey, and it had to come out.
Lucky,
it had to come out of the fucking vault. Exactly.
And if you missed it, you had to wait another 10 years.
That's the wildest shit to me. That Disney was like, "Hey, we could put our shit behind the vault, and people will like go crazy over it once it comes back out of the
our
vault."
Shit for like 10 years and then just re-release it again, but say that it's coming out of this secret place, and people will buy that shit up.
The vault, and it was just Dopey left the key next to it the whole time. It's like,
yeah.
Oh
God!
But to kick off the dads do Disney, we're doing Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which is the first full length Disney movie, isn't it?
I don't know. I would think.
I thought it was. I could be wrong.
Well, yeah, because I don't think. Yes, the tagline for the movie is Walt Disney's new characters in his first full-length production.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
So I had to search real far by just reading the tagline for the movie, but it's there.
I was gonna say, yeah, it began with Snow White and Seven Dwarfs in 1937, which was one of the first full-length animated feature films in general, and the first produced in the United States. Which, thus, at that point, when this movie, when we put it on, because part of also the joy of doing the Dads Do Disney is that I'm just gonna keep saying that title a million times because why not? But part of the joy is that my family, we've started to do like pizza movie night is what we call it, and so every Friday I make homemade pizzas, and then we watch a movie and we like cycle who gets to choose the movie. So this week was my choice, so I got to choose Snow White. But when I turned it on, Hannah was like, "This movie came out in 1937. When was Walt Disney born?" I was like, "I think around like 1900 or something." Like, it's crazy to think of someone who has such a crazy impact and still, like, though he passed in like the 60s, like still has a stranglehold and such an important like pop culture grasp on America and really the world. Is like he was almost born in the 1890s and like he essentially gave us like animated feature films, what we think of them today in America. And so it's cool to go back and like I've seen Snow White when I was a kid. I haven't seen it in years, so I wanted to go back and watch it because like I have a daughter. I want her to watch these movies with me, and I want to see like, oh, are they still good? Do they hold up to me? Like, what does she think of it? So, yeah, I was excited to watch Snow White, but at the same time, I was kind of like, I feel like I'm gonna hate this one.
Never seen it.
Really? Well, then it's
My
great that we did
my
this one.
wife my wife was just like blown away. Look, people, before I get a bunch of hateful comments, I grew up in a comic book nerd house in which my mom's not a big movie person.
Mm,
Weirdly enough, does like Disney, like collected Disney snow globes and things like that, but uh not really big into the like princessy stuff from
yeah,
Disney, weirdly enough. Um just never one, I don't think, again, growing up, it was in the vault,
yeah,
and we weren't big into Disney stuff, so it's not like when those things came out, we rushed out to buy the
yeah.
VHSs. Now, when like newer stuff came out, yeah, we'd always get, you know, if it was something we had seen in theaters and that. I mean, we had most of like the 90s Disney stuff, Disney movies and the clamshells. Um for those who don't understand that reference, by the way, when you used to buy the Disney VHSs, they came in these like thick plastic
Not like a
cases.
sleeve. It's like
Like
a
think like
plastic
a
case that you have
DVD
to.
case, but like an inch and a half thick, and like the plastic ends of it when it closed together, it literally looked like a big clam.
Yeah.
Um, so that's why they were called clamshell cases. Uh, so yeah, it
Ben's
just never
mansplaining VHS cases to us. Thanks, Ben.
not mansplaining. If anything, I'm
back
boomers.
back in
If
my
anything,
day.
I'm boomer splaining, which is sad because I'm only 31 years old. Uh,
You
30,
whippersnappers will never know what it's like to
31 with
have
the
to
heart of a
rewind your
61-year
movies.
old. Back in my day, you had a machine that could rewind it for you, but you better watch out if you don't wait the whole 30 seconds. If the man at Blockbuster didn't rewind it, your movie was spoiled. um,
A
yeah.
Blockbuster is a store where you go and rent them. Yeah. Imagine like Netflix,
Just
but you
imagine
had
this.
to walk into a store to do it.
Just imagine this whole episode is just an hour of me doing shitty old man voice. And every time I finish explaining something, I just have to explain something else within the explanation. It's just as serious and all. By the time it just gets to the end, it's just I want it to be the most ridiculous sentence. And that's how you make spaghetti. And it's just like, what? How did we get here? How, how did we end up here? This man started talking about Snow White. Now he's explaining the process of making spaghetti. What? Why? Oh,
um,
whew.
yeah. So,
So Snow White.
I was I was very excited to go back and watch this one because I feel like Snow White gets a lot of love, and they just came out with a new one, um, like a live action version, which did not get a lot of love. Um, so I was.
I am not going to touch that. I'm not going to touch that or any of the controversy surrounding it with a 10-foot pole.
So I was excited to watch this and kind of like get my own opinion again on Snow White, having not and Isla has books. She has like Snow White books, which I was literally just having the discussion with Hannah where I was like, man, there's not that many pages in the books talking about the dwarfs. Like, why is it like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs when they're not in the story that much? And then literally I'm realizing as we're watching that like this book gives so much like precursor information to like the start of the movie, and then it just like glances over the dwarfs. And I'm like, So you gave me all this information that's not in the movie. Like, it's not shown or said in the movie, but then you skip over 40 minutes of the movie where she's just hanging out with the dwarfs at their cottage. Like, I was so confused by the books going into the movie and then being like, wait a second, what? Um, but Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is a 1937 classical musical fairy tale animated adventure family film. I'm just listing all the genres that they give you on IMDb for this movie. Currently sits at a 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb. It was nominated for one Oscar for Best Musical Score. Adjusted for inflation, it is the highest grossing animated film of all time with an adjusted gross of $2.297 billion. And is one of the top 10 performers at the North American box office of all time, adjusted for inflation. It was the highest grossing animated film for 55 years. And it did not win Best Musical Score, but the next year, Walt Disney was awarded an honorary Oscar for the film.
How does that work?
It was recognized as a significant screen innovation which has charmed millions and pioneered a great new entertainment field. And he got he got one statuette and 7 miniature statuettes for it.
Oh my god. I'm so surprised to learn that Walt Disney has won what is quite possibly the only ever "We Fucked Up" award. Like, hey, sorry, we fucked up. Here's your Oscar. What?
I mean, it is crazy. Like, he has to be one of like the most nominated people of all time, right?
I would think
Which
so.
is it's a little easier when you're like making animated films. I feel like, I mean, don't come
Well,
after. You're
also a bit easier when
you're doing more of a producer role towards the
yeah,
end. Like, you're not
yeah.
doing the animation anymore, which I feel like he didn't do much at the beginning either. Really, I feel like
I think like a lot of like the shorts he was probably
yeah, like
much more
the early
involved
Mickey
in, but
stuff, Steamboat Willie type.
yeah, I have a feeling that once it got more and more involved, I have a feeling he kind of took a step back and was just kind of there. I mean, let's be honest, his it's the fact that you put his name on it is what makes it what it is, right?
Yeah,
What's really interesting is like looking at the cast and crew list, he's not even like listed.
yeah, that's what I found
Oh, there
interesting.
it is, producer.
Yeah,
Oh, that's weird. I
I,
was like, huh,
I
it doesn't show him at all.
it's kind of like Tim Burton almost, like Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas
Yeah.
type vibes. You know, it's like Walt Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It's like, okay, all right, well, it's Walt Disney Animation Studios or whatever. You know, it's it's not his per se, but I don't know where to like jump in on this one, um, because I feel like I will say not a lot happens for the most part in this movie. Uh, we're introduced to Snow White's stepmother, the Queen, who is just obsessed with being the fairest of them all with her magic mirror. So she,
Not mirror mirror, by the way.
oh,
The
really?
common mirror mirror on the wall. But she says magic
Mirror
mirror
on the
on the
wall.
wall.
Interesting. Where did mirror come from?
I don't know. Um, I have not had the chance to do some research on that, but I might have to take a look.
Um, we're introduced to Snow White's stepmother. Uses her magic mirror, asks it. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Um, and she wants it to say her. She wants to be the fairest of them all, but it says Snow White, who the stepmother, which is the queen, has banished Snow White into being like labor almost. She's like put her in rags to like hide her beauty and stuff, but she still finds a prince. Um, and so to keep Snow White from being the fairest of them all, the queen orders her huntsmen to take Snow White out into the forest and to kill her and bring her heart back. Which this movie's kind of fucked up. Like, I feel like a lot of the early Disney ones are kind of like,
Well,
like
it's also really weird when you consider the fact that Snow White is supposed to be 14.
all the like Grimm's fairy tales and those ones are really like Ariel.
Yeah,
I think that one's technically Hans Christian Andersen, but like
yeah. It is kind of a weird.
I think they have now started to fix that. Like if you watched Tangled, Rapunzel is 18 at the time that she's like
Yeah,
interested in Flynn Rider, and I mean Tiana's like pretty much a grown woman in Princess and the Frog, and like I think they've realized like maybe we need to make these princesses older, and not marry older men as underage women.
yeah, yeah. Update. Mirror Mirror is the translation of the original Grimm tale,
Hmm.
and then Magic Mirror was the original Disney. And
Interesting.
then somewhere down the
It
line, I
just
mean,
kind of
even Disney has kind of adopted doing Mirror Mirror on, um, on different things. Like
yeah.
I believe, going back to the old clamshell conversation, I believe the clamshell for Snow White said "Mirror Mirror on the wall."
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I think, uh, yeah, I mean, I just think they've kind of Disney's kind of put whichever on there. Um, so obviously there's not been a real set brand guideline there
Yeah.
for that, but yeah.
Um. So Snow White goes out into the woods with the huntsman.
Yep.
Um. He doesn't have the heart to kill her because she is just a kid. And why? So he doesn't kill her. He tells her to run. So she runs into the forest, and befriends like some woodland critters who take her to a cottage in the woods that she assumes is inhabited. For some reason, she cleans up the entire cottage, starts making dinner, and then falls asleep. Uh,
Which she assumes is inhabited
by
by
children.
children.
Yeah. By
So she thinks there are just children living out in the woods.
maybe they assumed like her, you know,
Could be. I mean, I guess, yeah, makes sense. Maybe she just thought, seven other kids had their moms,
try to kill
stepmoms,
them.
try to murder them.
uh, but then like looks at their names like us, Sleepy, Dopey, Sneezy. Those are funny names for some kids.
Huh.
Yeah, that is a funny name. Uh, but then the Snow White ends up falling asleep. The dwarves enter, um, and it takes so long for them to like go upstairs and find her as they like look around the cabin. Um, and then the Seven Dwarfs meet Snow White. Most of them like her because she's cooking and cleaning, but Grumpy kind of begrudgingly doesn't like her. Um, and they go to protect her while because of the queen. And then one day they leave. The queen changes her appearance. She shows up with an apple that has been poisoned, and she tricks Snow White into eating the apple. The dwarfs don't. Well, they think she's dead, but they can't get the urge to bury her. So then they just keep her in a glass coffin, and then her prince shows up and kisses her. Snow White, boom, bing, bing. All right. If you enjoyed this, no, I'm just kidding. um, but I I will say, my wife was like, I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I was going to. She's like, it was like, it's kind of cheery. Like, it's just like a happier movie. Which, granted, we have a 2 year old, so we skipped through most of the spooky parts. I had to go back and watch them. So, so she's like, yeah, it's a pretty positive movie, like for the most part, because there's a lot of like a lot of singing,
Yeah.
a lot of dancing. It is a musical movie, I feel like, for the most part, because Snow White has about like 7 or 8 musical numbers out almost, I feel like.
I was gonna say that's the thing that jumped out to me almost immediately is the first song she sings into the well,
Which
and then
the
right as
animation
that,
is so good there.
oh, that was something else I was gonna talk about. Yes, overall, I was shocked watching it, being like, "Damn, this." I understand why it costs so much to make because if you were to watch this movie and then one of the other Disney movies maybe made even into like the 60s, you'd be like, yeah, they were made probably a couple years apart.
Yeah.
Um,
The wishing well number, like when it's like the shot up at her from the wishing well and it's like doing the ripples in the water. I was like, that's crazy. Like for 1937, like that's
yeah.
crazy. I mean, Snow
If
White, like her animation is like a little dated because it's, I don't think it's 24 frames. Like it's whatever.
no, I think it's rotoscoped on whatever they had probably shot at.
Yeah. It's like, whatever, 14 frames or something.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like she's like a little jittery.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's the only thing I feel like was really kind of the problem. But like,
Yeah, but I mean if you were to take this like in my head I'm thinking like uh Disney's like Robin Hood
yeah,
that came out in 73. I think if you watch those two movies like back to back, I don't think you would think there was a 35-year difference
no.
between the two.
And I think that's part of the thing that like has held these movies up for so
Yeah.
long is like they're done so well.
Yeah.
Like,
Which, I mean, I guess in terms of animation, that really kind of was the way for a long time. I think, um, again, as my comic book nerddom kind of comes out here, the Fleischer Brothers Superman shorts from, I think they were 42, 43, also really hold up
mhm,
surprisingly well as things that, like, heck, they were things that the animated series team kind of took a lot of their inspiration from, and that was 92. So 40 or 50 years later is something that was like, this is the style, it holds up really well. um I don't know, I don't know if it was just I probably the rotoscoping did help. I mean it's easier I guess to make something that looks good and realistic if you are kind of taking it and drawing it over the actual, like an actual movie.
yeah.
um but yeah, no, that stood out to me right away. But then the musical numbers of going like one right into the next, and I was like, oh my god, is this considered two separate songs? Jesus.
Yeah,
And then it
like
was like 2 minutes later, and it felt like we were in. I was like, oh my god,
the wishing well one into like the Prince's song. I was kind of
yeah,
like, eh.
yeah,
But eh, and I feel like this is like every Disney movie or like a lot of them is like, even if you're not a fan of Disney or somebody who like watches a lot of Disney, I feel like these movies have permeated the pop culture so much that like someday my prince will come, Heigh-Ho, whistle while you work. You probably know those songs. Even if you've never seen this movie, I would almost guarantee 95% of people know those songs.
Can confirm. And I knew, I mean, like, Whistle While You Work and Heigh-Ho, I knew came from this.
Yeah.
But yeah, watching it, it's just like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. That's where this song comes in.
Yeah.
That's where this one
Oh, that's
hits.
that is the bad for me when uh like early on into like our pizza movie night stuff, like I didn't know. I would only hear like the Tangled soundtrack or like
Yeah.
Encanto soundtrack because Isla wanted to listen to those, and I was always making pizza, like not really getting to watch the movies. And now we've kind of like cut back on the amount of pizza I make, so I actually get to watch some of the movies and stuff. And so like I'd be like, wait, this is where that song comes into play.
Yeah.
This is where that's wow. Like it, like you piece it together, and you're like, okay, that makes sense. Because like the other one was we recently watched the 2011 Winnie the Pooh, and so
Okay.
we've been listening to the soundtrack, which is pretty good. It's like Zoe Deschanel did it with
Yeah.
oh, I can't think of the other person, uh but it's pretty good. And then we just watched the movie, and we'd be watching the movie, and then I'm like, just instinctively, I'm like, oh, this is where this song's about to come on. This song's about to come on. Boop. And you're like, dang
Yeah.
it. I'm like, without even like knowing the movie or the story of the movie, it's like, oh, I know that that song's about to come on just by the way what is happening, and I know the lyrics from hearing it so many times.
Yeah.
I didn't take many notes because I was watching it with my family, but uh, the Heigh-Ho, the animation in that song was really good too. Where like when they're in the mine and the diamonds are sparkling, and then like towards the end when they're walking home and the sun's setting, I was like, wow, this
Yeah.
is this is this is good. Like even though it's 1937, you would think. I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, like it's an old movie, it's gonna age, and like I feel like because it's animated, it holds up really well. Uh, it is very old Hollywood, I will say, at points. The credit sequence at the beginning, the audio being like as old as it is, like some of the songs that Snow White sings with oh, what's her name? Adriana Caselotti, the voice
Yeah.
of Snow White, like she's kind of got that like
Tinny.
whoa, yeah, like little like vibrato tinny voice. Yeah, like it
Mm-hmm.
sounds old.
Yeah.
Uh and then just kind of like feel Disney still kind of does this now, but it's like we kind of have to lore dump on you a little bit to get to where we're going. And it's like the first 4 minutes of every movie gives you like all the background that you may not necessarily need, but then it's like,
Yeah.
boop, all right, here we are.
Yeah. I think later years definitely they got better about doing that through like songs and
Yeah.
montages instead of it just being
Oh,
like,
this one was bad.
yeah.
I had to read my daughter can't read. I had to read the words. I'm like
Mm-hmm.
trying to read a screen out loud. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're a little older and you're a kid watching this, I feel like it'd be cool. It kind of gives you that like storybook feel,
Yeah.
like you're reading the story. Because then at the end it closes and like it's cute.
Mm-hmm.
If I watch another Disney movie and it does that again, I kind of be like, all right, let's calm down. Let's come up with something new here.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Richard Donner, we get it. Superman flies backwards around the sun.
Oh, and we closed the book on Sleeping Beauty. All right.
All right.
uh,
Real original.
but yeah, no, I thought I was gonna hate it, and I liked it. And honestly, part of the fun of this is I asked my daughter what she thought of the movie because we watched Cars, and that was like one of the first. She can sit through most movies.
Yeah.
And Cars, she got up and was like kind of done. Even though she was the one who was like, I want to watch Lightning McQueen. I was like, all right, whatever. And so this girl was cackling. she was laughing up a storm when the dwarfs were goofing off, like Sneezy and Dopey, like uh, clowning around. She was laughing up a storm. So my daughter's review, we asked her like, "What did you think of the movie?" Whatever. She's like, "I liked it. I liked the dwarves and the bunnies. She loved the woodland critters running around. Big fan of the bunnies because that's like her lovey is a bunny. She said bunnies are so snuggly. Uh, uh, she at bedtime she said the dwarves. She said they're all crazy. She said they're all crazy. And then we asked her who was her favorite, and she said Sneezy. Um, but yeah, so it was great to watch her like crack up and enjoy the movie too. Because sometimes I feel like she'll watch it and be like, oh, like whatever, and then
Yeah.
just watch it. But I feel like sometimes this is the first one we ever seen her like actively like laugh a bunch at. So that's
Good.
yeah.
Yeah. Hoping to try to find something that I can get my son into actually watching movies because he can sit and watch a YouTube video for an hour and a half, 2 hours, but can't do a movie to save our life.
That's so interesting. Have you tried animated movies?
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
He knows all about cars just from YouTube videos he's watched. Tried to get him to watch Cars 5 minutes in. Yeah, no.
I just
He'll
wonder
hand me
if
the
it's.
remote. We watch something else? We watch something else? No. Do you want to watch Cars? No. Like, all right, man.
I wonder, because we watching Cars like. There are moments where it drags. I don't know about 5 minutes in. It's still kind of
Oh,
action
it
packed.
was
5 minutes
literally
in.
like the racing
Yeah,
in
like
the
at the very
first five.
beginning. Yeah.
Nope.
Um.
Wanted nothing to do with it. We're hoping maybe that we can kind of start like just being like, all right, we're gonna turn a movie on and then we're just gonna hide the remote, and that way he can't just bring us the remote and be
Yeah.
like, we watch something else, because that is his go-to move.
That's kind of what we did. Like Cars, she like got up and started like playing with other stuff in the room, and we were
Yeah,
like, "Are you done watching this?" And she was like, "No." I'm like, all right, but you're not watching it. She was like, "Okay, I'm still watching." So, all right, well, whatever. Like I was like, "All right, well, mom and dad are gonna finish watching the movie. Like if you want to play with
yeah,
stuff, go ahead." But like, and then
yeah.
she eventually like sat back down and like watched it again. But we're definitely not at the point where we could go to a theater and watch anything.
Oh God,
Like
no.
I could not imagine putting my child in the theater, and if they started to get bored, that that sounds like hell on earth.
It sounds like me turning into my father of being like, God damn it. Do you know how much money I paid for us to go see this movie? You're gonna sit and you're gonna watch it.
I paid 25
Only
bucks to go watch Lilo and Stitch 2. What do
only
you do?
worse because movies are so much more expensive now.
Oh, they're not a nickel anymore, eh? No, I was kidding.
No. Back in my day, we
Um,
went on a $5 matinee.
I feel like this kind of takes away from it, from me saying it, but like I feel like it's not necessarily it's it's a groundbreaking movie,
Yes.
but it's not necessarily groundbreaking, if that makes sense. Like the material of the story is not anything that I feel like is new to me, or like, and this is as somebody who's has seen all of these movies, and I've got a
Yes.
million princesses and fairy tales in my life at this point. But like I feel like maybe in 1937 seeing this as like the first animated feature film ever in America probably blew your fucking mind, and that's why it's what it is today as far as highest grossing animated movie of all time.
Well, it was
Just
also one of like 4 movies in a theater at the time.
yeah, and it's and that was something you did. Like
And I
you
think I
went to the
read it,
theater.
and I think I read it. It ran for damn near as long as Gone with the Wind did. Let's see if I found that, if I read that right.
But like as far as like the actual like stuff that happens, it's not crazy. Like
No.
I feel like as somebody who appreciates like the animation, there's a lot of cool animation for like the time. Like the transformation from the queen to like the old hag was really cool. Uh, the wishing well number was really cool. Whistle while you, or not whistle while you work, but um, Heigh-Ho musical number really cool. Um, and then like one thing I do love about old animation is the where you have the background and then you have the element that's about to be interacted with being like completely different shade of whatever. And so like this one it's always fun to watch for me. I don't know. It's kind of like an Easter egg, I feel like. But
No, and I mean, you can do that all the way up to cartoons through like the 2000s.
yeah, where it's like they have the background plate and then they've, painted over it. So it's like, in like Whistle While You Work when they're doing like the cobwebs, it'll be like this cobweb is like really dark black and then this one's like gray. And the
Yeah,
bird's about to come in like it's um
yeah.
that's why I feel bad. Like it's not necessarily like like a crazy amazing story, but historically this is a fucking amazing, groundbreaking film. I feel like, but um, yeah. Did you find the thing about
So it was released in 1937. It premiered in December, and then it opened at Radio City in January of 1938. Um, it was the most successful sound film of all time, and it was displaced by Gone with the Wind in 1939. But I can't tell if that means um, I can't see when it how long it was actually in theaters for the first time around. But it was also then uh to note, because we talked about how much money it had been made, or it had made, right?
mm-hmm.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was first re-released in 1944
Okay,
to raise revenue for the Disney studio during World War II.
so they could make propaganda.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was re-released to theaters in 1952, 1958, 1967, 1975, 1983, 1987, and 1993, coinciding with the 50th anniversary release in 1987. Disney released one of many novelizations of the story.
It says
In
they
93, it became the first film to be entirely scanned to digital files, manipulated, and recorded back to film.
hmm,
The restoration project was carried out entirely at 4K resolution and 10-bit color depth uh, to digitally remove dirt and scratches.
interesting.
So, oh my god, as part of Disney's 100th anniversary, the film was re released in cinemas across the UK on August 4th, 2023, for 1 week.
Yeah.
So they're still using this bitch to make money.
Well, it says they the film was finally released on video in 1994 after several years of the studio resisting any notion of the idea. According to Michael Eisner, the reason why they did it was because the film was about to enter public domain in Italy and would be prone to be pirated. So
Yeah.
ultimately, they had their copyright on the movie extended. And I feel like that is kind of the reason why we're getting all of the live action shit we're getting now.
Oh, I mean, it's the reason that there's been so many other things that have yet to go into public domain. Disney has been,
I mean,
uh,
wasn't they're like the original ones who like extended it to whatever 95 years or whatever.
yeah, yeah, it's 100%. They're the reason that so many other things have, yeah, been able to be extended.
But now Pooh Bear's in the public domain, so
Pooh Bear's been in for a couple years because they did that whatever
the yeah
crazy
the
movie.
horror movie.
And the original version of
Mickey,
Mickey,
yeah,
technically, because they're doing another shitty horror movie about that, the
yay,
Steamboat Willie one.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He's about to have his 100th birthday. 3 years, old Mickey Mouse.
yeah,
That's crazy, man. He's still
yeah.
he's still still the goat, you know.
What's crazy is that, and I can't remember if maybe we had this conversation with what they've really been doing with Mickey
Oh
Mouse in the
yes,
last however
we
many
have,
years.
yes. I think it was when we were talking about Looney Tunes
Yeah,
last 2 weeks ago.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I don't. I mean, nothing really. I mean, he's he's still
I mean, he's
just
the
the
major
mascot.
mascot of
Yeah.
the company, but yeah, he's
I
not
mean, he's
really
the
the
first person you can meet when you walk in the theme park. But
never. That's not true. I think I did see him once at Disneyland.
oh, dude, I just met him 3 or 4 times when I went.
Didn't see him in Cali.
Well, he's in Toontown and Disneyland.
That could be why we went back towards Toontown. We were only there for a couple. I want to say one of the rides was like shut down or something,
Hmm.
so we didn't end up going on it.
I've never been to Disneyland, so I can't speak too highly of it or about it too much. But yeah, like when you walk in Magic Kingdom, he's the like theater is right there to the
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That one I know. As the Disney adult in the chat, I could I could speak to that one.
Boo. I hope you know everyone listening to this podcast is booing you. Boo.
Hey, going in September. See you
Oh
guys there.
God.
Hey, when you take your child, Ben, and you see the total joy on those kids' face of just meeting their heroes. I got the cutest photos of Isla pointing at Mickey's gloves and hats and the little magician box and
You don't
stuff.
have to tell me. I'll send you the pictures of Grayson meeting Blippy at the Toledo Zoo.
All right. I don't even know who Blippi is, man. I know of
What?
him. I we
God bless you.
Yeah, I know. We don't know Miss Rachel in my house. We don't know Blippi. The only Miss Rachel I know is the librarian at our library. We know Bluey though.
Well, yeah. Well, it's because it's a Disney thing, Dylan.
Not really. I mean, I think they have the American distribution rights, but you're gonna be able to meet him soon at the parks. Is that gonna get you to go? Hollywood Studios, man.
Yeah, that's the thing that's going to get me there. Not the new Avengers land that they build. No, no, no. That won't get me
Are they
anywhere.
building one in California
I
or?
there already is one in California.
Oh, I know in Epcot they have the Cosmic Rewind.
Yeah, I thought one of them, or
They're doing villains. They're doing
maybe
cars.
Disneyland. They're going to expand. I don't
They,
know. I saw something about Disneyland. They're going to build like an Avatar
yeah,
land.
they are doing that. They got rid of the Monsters Inc. ride for that.
I really enjoyed the Monsters Inc. ride.
Well, hey, just wait because there's going to be a new one in Disney World. They're getting rid of Muppets Vision 3D and putting in a Monstropolis area, and there's going to be a door coaster, Ben.
Cool.
All right, so get off of Disney chat. This is how far my wife has got me in the rabbit hole, man. She's the one. She's the catalyst here. I mean, really, it's my daughter, but it has now become. Hannah watches like YouTube videos and stuff. And like, she'll be like, "Did you see the new Baconator that they have at this stall?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't."
No, I live in Michigan.
It sounds really cool. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, we could move to Florida and get annual passes. And I'm like, yeah, but then I'd have to live in Florida. And that sounds not fun for multiple reasons.
No, get your red hat. Get
Yeah.
on down there.
That's why I'm wearing my blue shirt, Ben.
I'm wearing my black shirt, namely because I'm in my basement and it's always cold.
It's because Ben's an anarchist. Um,
I'm in mourning for our country.
well, before we get too deep in the rabbit hole here, Ben, what
Let's
did you
do
think on your
reviews.
first viewing of Snow
Uh,
White and the Seven Dwarfs? Almost fucking 110 years later or whatever. 100 years, I don't know, I can't math right now.
90?
90, almost 90,
Almost
almost
90?
90 years, yeah.
Bud, are you okay? How heavy is that beer you're drinking, pal? Holy shit. Um, I'll be honest. This movie was was pretty meh to me. I'm not a big uh I'm not a I it's hard for me because again, I didn't grow up in a big Disney princessy type of environment. So like
Just say it,
I
Ben.
had
You're a
no
boy dad.
I have both, but my daughter is in potato stage. I love her to death. She's great. She's very joyful. Anytime you just look at her, she smiles an infectious smile.
She's gonna be like, Dad,
But
Dad, can we
she
watch
doesn't
Snow
watch.
White? You're gonna be like, here's
No,
Batgirl.
no.
Here's Catwoman.
Here's Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, and you'll like it. We won't watch the sequel.
You need strong female
Uh,
role models.
Here, watch Black Widow. Dad'll watch it with you. Um,
Just because we're doing it for the podcast, though.
yeah.
It's April.
um, yeah. I mean, I was very impressed with how well the animation holds up. Um,
Wrong.
Jesus Christ. Put yourself on mute, you monster. I'm trying to process thoughts about a movie review. Here I've got Dylan dying in the background. Jesus.
All right.
Um yeah, overall I don't know. It was all right. I gave it like a 5. I don't know. I thought it was kind of mediocre. Um Again, things hold up. It just wasn't for me. This one was it was okay. I don't know. I don't think it's a must watch. I think there's other Disney movies that are probably better. Um yeah, I don't know. Eh.
Um, I had seen this a long time ago. I did not remember anything about it. Um, other than I knew the witch with the apple and the dwarfs and Snow White. So and the music, but I kind of agree. It's it's all right. I think if you're kind of into the princesses and stuff, I feel like you watch it because you want to know about Snow White. Or you just kind of want to see it. I mean, it's a short movie. It's literally like an hour and 20 minutes. So it's not going to kill you to watch it. It's not like, I don't know, what's the Scorsese movie that just came out that was like 3 hours
The
long?
Irishman.
Well, yeah, that one too, where it's like, this is going to take me a whole day to watch. Like, we watched this movie and I was like, wait, it's already over? Um,
Well, it probably also goes fast if you skip all the scary bits.
it does go kind of fast because there was a lot of scary bits in this one. um, no, it's really fun to watch all these movies and then you get to skip over the like semi-intense parts and you're like, wow, this
This is a
movie's
really low stakes movie.
yeah. I mean, Isla doesn't know what's going on. We read the spooky parts in the book, so she should know what's going on there. But it's more the
We
visually.
skip We skip the spooky parts, but we read them in the book. So my daughter's been asking, "Where's all the spooky parts?" My wife just keeps telling her, "Dad gets afraid we don't watch them."
It, I feel like it's when it turns visual is when it's scarier than when, just reading it because she doesn't know what poison is. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. Like it's fine. I think the musical numbers are fun. Uh, like Heigh-Ho is really a fun one. Whisk While You Work's really fun. Um, I was kind of just waiting for my prince, like someday my prince will come, just because I knew it was from this. Um, and I feel like those are like your highlights as far as music goes. Uh, I think historically, groundbreaking, amazing. Nowadays, I probably watch almost all of the princess movies before I watch this one again, if I'm being honest. I haven't seen Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty in a while, so I can't speak too much to those, but like any of the ones from the 90s I'd probably watch before I watch this one. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I think it's good. And you should check it out. But I'm not saying you have to. I feel like that's my way of saying that. Like it's good. Uh but yeah, so this may be a bigger series. I think we kind of want to maybe do it like chronologically and like see the progression of like where we go. We might not do like every Disney movie because there's some that I don't even fucking know.
I can know one. I can name one off the top of my head that I know we're skipping.
Uh, well, wait, which one has that been? Was it? Did it used to be a ride and now it's a different ride?
Could be.
Is it that one?
Is it the one that has the songs you're not allowed to even sing anymore?
Zippity doo dah, zippity day. My oh my, what a wonderful day.
Is
Uh,
it the one that was canceled?
Probably. It's probably got a warning before you pull it up on Disney.
Oh, I don't think it has a warning because I don't think it's on Disney anymore.
You don't think? You think if I go on Disney Plus right now, it's not gonna be on there?
Yes, I'm almost 100% positive that it is not on there.
Well, so we might go through these chronologically, and here and there. Um, it's not an every week thing, but just kind of just to like Ben said, have like a fallback thing, but then kind of have like a reoccurring series that if people are interested in this kind of thing, listen to it, share it, like it, leave reviews on this episode specifically. On Spotify, you can really do a lot of that, and that'll let us know that you like this thing, and maybe we'll do it more frequently if we're getting a lot of feedback on it.
Yeah.
But so I hope you liked this episode. If you did, leave a review, subscribe, leave a rating, share with your friends and family. Check us out next time. We might do a long movie next because we were talking about some long movies. Share us with your friends and family. And as always, watch responsibly.